Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ifeoluwa. In this video I'm going to show you how to cut and sew this collar. So this tutorial is going to be very simple and straightforward. You can add this collar to your dress or to your top. So if it's something you are interested in learning, stick around and watch this video to the end. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do well to subscribe, give my video a thumbs up, and also feel free to leave your questions and your comments in the comment section. Thank you very much guys. Now let's get started. So I'll be using the neckline on this my pattern paper to show how to cut the collar. So if you have your shirt or you have your gown ready, you can also use the neckline of what you have. Now this is my back pattern. I cut it out on fold, so this is it open, and what I need here is the neckline of this pattern paper or whatever you are using for this tutorial. So this is my front pattern. For the front pattern, I also cut it out on fold, and I have about 3 inches there because of the button allowance. So I'll be folding that 3 inches to make it 1 inch. So that is what I have there, that is sticking, that is extending to that part. So that is the button allowance. So I'm just folding it here to show you how it is going to look like by the time you are sewing it, by the time you want to sew it on your dress or on your fabric. So this is what I have. Now I'm going to measure out the neckline. Now you note that even if you have cut this out on your fabric already and you've already added the allowances, you're not going to measure out with the allowance. You're just going to measure out the accurate neckline that you cut for the fabric. So this is my pattern paper. I don't have any allowance there, so I'm just going to measure out the accurate neckline. So I'm going to start with the back pattern. So this is what I have. I'm measuring out from the beginning of that side. So I have about 3.25 inches for this back pattern. So I'm going to note that and write it on that point so that I won't forget. So I have 3.25 inches for the back pattern. Now I'm going to also measure out the front pattern. Then you make sure that you include the 1 inch for the button allowance. So you're measuring everything around like that. So I have about 5.75 for the front pattern. So this is my pattern paper that I'll be using to cut out the collar. So the first thing we are going to be cutting out is the collar stand. So that is the one that is going to sit on that, and that is going to sit directly on the neckline of the dress or shirt. So I'm just going to draw out a straight line here just to guide me for what I'm going to be drafting. Now from that straight line there, I'm going to measure out 1 inch for the collar stand. So your collar stand, 1 inch is actually appropriate enough for the collar stand. So I'm going to measure that and then draw out a straight line also. Now after doing that, I'm going to measure out what I have on the back pattern neckline and the front pattern neckline. So on the back pattern neckline, I have 3.25. I'm going to measure that out there and mark it. Then on the front pattern, I have 5.75 inches. So I'm also going to measure that from the 3.25. I'm going to measure it out and mark out the front neckline. So I'm going to do the same thing at the upper side so that I can draw out my a straight line. So I'm going to measure out the back pattern here and also the front pattern at the other side, and then I'll draw out a straight line to connect them. So I'm going to extend this straight line because of this next step that I'm about to do. So now we have the collar stand almost ready, but because the neckline is not straight, so the neckline is curved. It is not just straight as it is here for the collar. So what I'm just going to do is to come up by ½ inch on each of those lines. So this is ½ inch on the first line, then this is the other line, come up by ½ inch. So after doing that, I'm going to be making a curve to join the first point, that is the point of the back pattern. So I'm going to use my curve just to join that place on the front, on the upper part, and then the lower parts. So you can see that that straightness is no longer there, so we now have a curve. So that way it is going to stay and stand well on the collar of the dress. So this is called the collar stand. Now I'm going to go ahead to cut out what I have. So this is it after cutting out. Don't forget that I cut it out on fold. Now for the collar itself, I'm going to get another piece of pattern paper and also fold it. So this is also going to be on fold. Then I'm going to place this collar stand on it like this. So you make sure they are equal at that point. That is the part that is on fold. Then I'm going to use my pin to just pin that together. So after pinning that, what I'm going to do is to just trace out this upper part of the collar stand. So I'm going to trace this part out. So this is the part that is going to be sitting on this collar stand for the collar that we're about to cut now. So I'm going to trace out that part like that, or you can just use your pattern the ruler to also trace it out. Now you remember that when we were cutting the collar stand, we added the 1-inch button allowance to the collar stand, but for this we are going to be taking away that 1 inch because of the collar. The collar is not meant to extend to that 1 inch there, so we are going to take away the 1 inch for the button allowance on the collar itself that we're about to cut out now. So you just go back and take the 1 inch away. Now this is where you're going to measure out the length of the collar that you want. So I want mine to just be 2 inches. You can take it to 2.5 or as much as 3 inches, but I'm going to leave this one at 2 inches. So I'm just going to mark out the 2 inches there. So I'm going to mark out the same 2 inches on that point of the that we came in by 1 inch because of the button allowance. Then I'm going to draw out a straight line from on both points to connect them together. Then after that, I'm also going to draw out a straight line to also connect that point to the button allowance. So that is what we have. So if you want to leave your collar like this, you can leave it this way if you just want it to be straight there. But if you want it to have something like a V shape, you just extend this part here, you extend this line here, then you measure out how you want the V to be. So I'm going to leave mine at 1 inch for this one. You can measure out 1 inch, 2 inches, 1.5. So I'm just going to leave that at 1 inch. Then I'll connect it back into that point that we came in by 1 inch. So you connect it back there. So that is if you want that V effect that usually comes with some collars. But if you just want it to be straight, you can decide to leave this 1 inch out of it. So this is the collar for this top or for your dress. So I'm going to go ahead to cut it out now. So guys, this is the complete set of our collar. Now I'm going to proceed to cut out on the fabric, and then I'll add all the necessary allowances that should be added on the fabric. So this is my fabric. You make sure that the fabric is folded into 2. So I'm going to be cutting out the collar stand first. So I'm just going to pin that down. Then I'm going to be adding ½ inch round, ½ inch on for the lower part, the upper part, and then by the side. So you make sure your fabric is on fold, then you cut out. Now after cutting that one, I'm going to cut out another one. So this other one, let's just say, is going to be acting as the lining for this collar. So this is what you're going to be using to turn over the collar to make it look very, very neat. So I'm going to cut out another one like so. Then I also do the same thing for the collar itself. I'm also going to fold my fabric into 2. Then I'm going to cut out 2 separate pieces for this one. So one acting as the main fabric and the other acting as the lining. So guys, this is what I have for my collar. Now if you want this collar to come out standing, to come out really, really thick, you can add your stay to it. So if you have a collar stay, you add your collar stay to it. If you don't have a collar stay, you can just add this stay to it or your paper stay. So you can add it to both the fabric, the one standing as the fabric and the one standing as the line. So you can add them, you can add it to both of them. But for this tutorial, I won't be adding any of the stays to it. But for yours, if you're going to be adding this to your dress or to your shirt, you make sure you add the stay to it, so that it's going to come out very, very firm, and it's going to stand well. Now I'm going to go ahead to join them together. I'm going to be starting with the collar. So I'm going to just open it up like this. Then the right sides should be facing each other. So that is the right side of the main fabric and the right side of the one we are using to act as the lining. So they are going to stay together like this, and then I'm going to join the upper parts together. I'm going to join that upper part of the collar together, not the lower part. So just the upper parts. So this is what I have after joining. I hope you can see this well. I decided to top stitch that part too after joining. So I just top stitch it so that by the time you fold it, it's going to stand, it's going to stay very well, or you can just iron it well to stay. Now the next thing to do is to also join the sides by the ½ inch that we used as the allowance. So I'm going to join those sides like that. So this is what I have after joining the sides together. So to be able to turn it over to the other side, I'm just going to cut out that part so that it's going to come out clean and it's not be bulky at the other side. So I'm just going to turn it over like so. Now you can go ahead to trim out any excess that you have there. So the next thing to do is to join this collar to the collar stand. So this is my collar stand. So I'll be joining it to the upper part of the collar stand also, not the lower part. The lower part is what we are going to be joining to the dress or to the shirt. So this is the upper part that we'll be joining this one too. Now I'm going to notch the midpoint of everything. So I'm going to notch the midpoint of this collar and the midpoint of the collar stand also. So starting from the midpoint, I'm going to start pinning this together. So you make sure the right side should be facing each other. The right side of that collar stand should be facing whatever side of this collar. So you start pinning from the midpoint, so you're going to have equal amounts of fabric. Now for this side, remember that we have 1 inch for the button allowance, so we are going to be taking that 1 inch away, and then we added ½ inch also for the sewing allowance, so we have 1.5 inches altogether. So that 1.5 inches is what I took away from that part. Then I'm going to start pinning from that side too. I'm going to pin that together. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the other side. Take away the 1.5 inches and also pin. So after doing that, I'm going to proceed to pin the other side to make sure that they are sitting well on each other. Now after doing this, I'm going to take the other piece of the collar stand, then the right side should be facing each other. I'm also going to place it on top of this like so, and then pin together. Then I'm going to go ahead to sew 0.5 inches, that is ½ inch that we used as the allowance. So guys, this is what I have after sewing the ½ inch. So you can see that the collar is already coming together. Now the next thing I'm going to do is also join that side. So join is by the ½ inch that we have. So this is what I have after joining. I'm going to do the same thing and just cut out that area, so that by the time you turn it over, it's going to come out neat. So guys, this is what I have for the collar. So after doing all this, you can then proceed to join this collar on your dress. So you join it on that lower part to the dress. So this is the neckline here. You just join it starting from the button allowance. You join it there, that is the 1 inch for the button allowance. Then you join it round to the neckline of your fabric. So you make sure you also pin this very well, so that you won't be having any excess or any shortage of collar or neckline. So guys, this is it for this collar tutorial. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and let me know if you're going to be trying it, and also let me get your feedback in the comment section. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please don't leave without subscribing. Give my video a thumbs up. Thank you very much guys for watching. I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye.